What's clear to me is the direction, in the sense that we are going to become tougher, particularly on the economic side. I think that's clear. And by the way, that had already happened under the Biden administration, which continued the previous Trump administration. Right. I think there the arrows are pretty clear. The biggest question I have is, to what extent are we prepared to resist China geopolitically? If China does something, for example, against the Philippines in the South China Sea, which has the potential to be the first foreign policy crisis for this administration, if China ultimately puts greater pressure on Taiwan, what tools is this administration willing to bring to bear? Would it just be economic tools, tariffs and sanctions, or would they be prepared to bring military tools to bear? I think that's a big, big question.
The heart of your book, The Bill of Obligations, the 10 Habits of Good Citizens, is our checks and balances. You mentioned earlier, Ambassador, that there's going to be action by the new administration and there'll be legal pushback. How will that unfold?
Well, Tom, you raise a big question there. For the first time in modern memory, we've become effectively a parliamentary system. You've got one party, indeed one individual, with the lion's share of control, the White House, the Senate, the House, and Supreme Court that tilts that way. So we no longer really have checks and balances to a significant degree at the federal level. So the real question is, how does this president, how does this administration comport itself? Does it respect any limits? Yes, they won the election, but 49% of America voted against them. And the real question is, does our system work with this degree of concentration of power? And what makes me a little bit uneasy, Tom, is we're beginning to see some, how would I call it, extra institutional things. For example, this potential board of military people to look at the political orientation of the generals, or what Elon Musk and Vivek are being asked to do.
Doge.
Possibly also a trade czar position. What's interesting about all these things, you're giving people authority, but they're not really accountable, and that makes me uneasy.
You mentioned Elon Musk. I think a lot of our listeners and our viewers are wondering, what role is he going to really play in this government, do you think? Because I understand he's been down in Mar-a-Lago since Election Day.
Yeah, it's just when you think you've seen everything, you realize you haven't seen everything. And the idea that he's on this or that phone call and seems to have this brief with no clear borders to it. Again, I think there's real questions about Elon Musk. Yes, he's genius. What he did, what he's done with space launch, with Starlink and the rest is fantastic. But I get nervous when I see this degree of power in the hands of an individual who's essentially beyond accountability. He's got his own political agenda. We've seen it on X during the campaign. He's got his own foreign policy agenda. So he's clearly going to have a role. Presidents are allowed to have kitchen cabinets. Right. That's happened since time immemorial. But usually it's limited. And the question is here, how operational does he get? I think that's just a question mark out there.